Right now in Montana, it is -28 degrees outside. 3 meters below the snow, someone is harvesting fresh greens in a greenhouse buried underground, with no electricity and no fuel bill. It sounds fake. But the earth itself holds heat like a giant battery, and ancient Aymara civilizations understood this long before we invented furnaces. The physics that make this work are almost embarrassingly simple. A few feet below the frozen surface, the rules of winter break down. Here, the soil acts as a silent battery, soaking up heat during the day and bleeding it back out at night. This is not magic. It is physics, hiding in plain sight beneath our feet. The secret lies in how temperature waves move through the ground. At the surface, air might swing wildly from a sunny thaw to a midnight freeze, but drop just half a meter down, about the length of your forearm, and those wild swings shrink to a gentle pulse. This is the skin depth effect. The deeper you go, the less the earth cares about what is happening above. Every day, the sun tries to warm the ground, but soil is stubborn. Its heat moves slowly, diffusing downward in waves that fade fast. After half a meter, the daily temperature dance is barely a whisper. At 3 meters, even the seasons become a rumor. Here, the earth remembers only the average of long months, not the chaos of any single night. That is why, in a pit greenhouse, the planting floor sits well below the frost line. The surrounding soil keeps temperatures steady, buffered, lagged, and insulated from the violence of winter air. Thermal diffusivity is the soil's hidden superpower. It decides how fast heat spreads and how much gets lost. Loam, with its blend of minerals and moisture, offers just the right balance, slow enough to trap warmth, quick enough to recharge when the sun returns. The math is simple but powerful, a kind of exponential forgetting, where each layer of earth dulls the memory of last night's cold. This is the mechanism that turns a buried greenhouse into a haven. No wires or fuel required. The soil does not just insulate, it actively moderates, smoothing out the wildest extremes and storing the sun's gift for the longest, darkest nights. Sunlight in winter is a rare currency, precious, fleeting, and often wasted. Underground, that changes. A pit greenhouse is engineered to catch every available photon, funneling energy into the earth itself. The trick starts with the angle. The south-facing glazing is tilted between 15 and 20 degrees, a calculated move that matches the low arc of the winter sun. On a clear January day, each square meter of that slope can pull in about 300 to 400 watts, enough to power a small heater. But here, the energy flows straight into mass. But where does that energy actually go? The answer is in the numbers. Water barrels, stacked along the north wall, act as silent heat banks. Each 2 cubic meter barrel, about the size of a chest freezer, can absorb nearly 84 megajoules with just a 10-degree temperature rise. That is enough stored heat to keep a 30 square meter greenhouse above freezing for a bitter 12-hour night, even when the world outside has dropped to -15. The math is simple, but the effect is profound. Q equals mc delta T. The energy stored depends on the mass, the heat capacity, and the temperature swing you are willing to allow. Water wins because it packs more joules per degree than soil or stone. Every barrel is a buffer against the cold, soaking up solar gain by day and bleeding it gently back into the air when darkness falls. The geometry matters too. A shallow tilt means more sun in winter, less overheating in summer, and a longer window for each ray to hit the thermal mass. Inside, The result is a kind of thermal choreography. Sunlight charges the barrels and the soil, the heat lingers, and the plants thrive, while snow piles up above. No wires, no fans, just physics, hidden in the angles, the volumes, and the relentless logic of energy moving from hot to cold. Digging deeper isn't just about escape from the cold. It's about choosing the right kind of underground shelter for your crops. Not all earth-sheltered greenhouses play by the same rules. The classic walipini carves out a trench 2 to 3 meters below ground, then caps it with a sharply angled, south-facing window. The deeper you go, the more the Earth's steady temperature shields your plants from wild swings above. But depth is only part of the equation. Some designs use heavy berms, thick mounds of soil packed against the north and side walls, to bolster insulation. Others rely on the sheer mass of the Earth itself, wrapping the pit with dense loam or stone. Each approach changes how heat moves and where it gets lost. A shallow pit with thin berms will feel every cold snap. A deep walipini, buried well below the frost line, shrugs off even the worst Arctic blasts. The trade-off. Deeper pits demand more excavation and careful drainage, but they reward you with a microclimate that barely flinches when the outside world freezes. Glazing choice matters just as much. Polycarbonate panels trap more heat than thin plastic sheeting, but they cost more upfront. Double layers cut heat loss by nearly a third compared to single sheets. Roughly 30% less energy leaks away into the night. Some builders swear by a hybrid, earth berms on the north, double glazing for the roof, and foam insulation wrapped around the rim. It is a patchwork of methods, each one tuned to the builder's climate, budget, and appetite for risk. The right design isn't one size fits all. It is a question of how much insurance you want against the next deep freeze, and how much you are willing to dig to get it. Underground warmth solves only part of the problem. Moisture, frost, and stagnant air can unravel months of planning overnight. Digging deep protects against surface freeze, but careless design invites condensation, water beads on cold glazing, seeps into corners, and breeds mold. The main culprit is trapped humidity, turning a shelter into a breeding ground for decay. Earth tube ventilation offers a practical answer. By running a duct 3 to 5 meters below ground, fresh air is drawn through stable soil, warming by 3 to 4 degrees Celsius before reaching the greenhouse. Each degree matters, pushing the air above freezing and holding frost at bay, even as winter bites outside. No wires, no fans, just the steady movement of air, powered by simple physics. But air alone won't keep the structure safe. Water needs a path out. A layer of drainage gravel beneath the floor channels away meltwater and condensation, stopping frost heave that can crack foundations and warp glass. Field trials in Montana and Alaska confirm that washed gravel, a sloped floor, and perimeter drains keep interiors dry through the harshest thaws. Success depends on this balance: steady airflow, reliable drainage, and careful grading, creating a microclimate where plants thrive despite the cold above. Beneath heavy snow and biting wind, a handful of underground greenhouses quietly rewrite the rules of winter. In Montana, a walipini 2.5 meters deep holds steady at 6 degrees Celsius, even when the outside world drops to -28. 5 sensors logged the numbers for 4 months straight. No backup heater, just a solar-powered fan for air movement. Lettuce, kale, and radish kept coming. Yields reached 1.8 tons per square meter in a single cold season. The only real threat was a 3-day stretch of cloud cover that forced a last-minute tarp to keep the heat in. Thousands of kilometers away, a Swedish research station dug a pit 2.4 meters deep, lined it with stone, and capped it with double-glazed, low-E glass. Their loggers showed an average of 3.5 degrees inside, while the Arctic night pressed in at -20. A single electric heater, used sparingly, cut runtime by 70% compared to a surface greenhouse. The result was spring cucumbers and winter kale, 1.2 tons of greens from just 100 square meters. In Colorado, a permaculture group built a hybrid, part above-ground A-frame and part underground tunnel. The buried section never dropped below -1 at night, while the surface greenhouse next door swung wildly from -12 to +14. Lettuce yields jumped 60%, and propane use fell to less than 1 kilowatt-hour per square meter. Each of these projects logged their own surprises: fogging, sudden heat loss, ventilation tweaks, but the numbers do not lie. Underground, food keeps growing, while winter rages above. A buried greenhouse is not just a clever trick of physics. It is a challenge to the way we think about cost, culture, and progress. On paper, the numbers are hard to ignore. Building an earth-sheltered walipini costs about $1,200 per square meter, a fraction of the $3,000 per square meter that a conventional glass house with powered heating requires. That gap is not just about material or labor. It is a window into the hidden costs of modern convenience. Every dollar not spent on fuel, insulation, or backup generators is a dollar that stays in the grower's pocket and a step away from the grid's leash. But economics only tells half the story. The word walipini comes from the Aymara language. Wali means warm, pini means place. It is not a new invention, but a legacy passed down from farmers on the Andean Plateau, who learned to grow food at 4,000 meters, where frost can strike any night of the year. Their pit gardens were more than shelters. They were acts of defiance against a brutal climate, proof that warmth could be conjured from cold earth with nothing but human ingenuity. Even the ancient site of Moray, with its concentric terraces, sunk deep into the Peruvian highlands, hints at this same principle. It shows how to use the land's own geometry to bend the rules of temperature and time. Today, every underground greenhouse built in a northern winter stands on the shoulders of that tradition. It is a quiet rebellion, a reminder that some of the most radical solutions are buried in the past, waiting for us to notice them again. Hidden just beneath our feet, the Earth holds solutions modern systems overlook. As food insecurity and energy costs climb, ancient methods like these challenge what we call progress. Are we building smarter or forgetting what nature already perfected? Sometimes, the most radical innovations are the ones we've buried. Share your thoughts below.